So for this next series of tools that you're going to learn, I provided you a whole bunch of little demo files. Every one of these little demo files are not something that you need to duplicate perfectly. They are literally there just to show you where the tool is and how it works. So quick, open the file, do what it says, save it, close it. Open the file, do what it says, save it, close it. They're very, very quick files. A lot of these you can do in a minute's time. Okay, so this first one I'm going to do a little bit slower to explain some things, but some of the other ones I'm going to move very fast. So when you open the file called Circle and Ellipse tool, it'll be grayed out like this. The directions say to right click on the left where it says edit this sketch. Now this is a part file, so this is a little bit different. I sketched in a part file. Okay, so you notice this left side here, this was not there on the last example activity. This is in a part file, so it's a different file type. I would call this your browser. I don't know what SolidWorks would technically call this, but I call it your browser because in some other 3D modeling programs that I've used, that's what they call this. So it records everything that you do. It also provides different planes, flat 2D surfaces, material, history, all of that. So there's a sketch over here. You're going to right click on that sketch and it'll bring up a whole bunch of options. So really the option that we want is one of these tiny little symbols up here. The first one that says edit sketch. And if you're looking at the symbol, it looks like a piece of paper with a pencil on it. So when we click on that, now we're inside of the sketch. And there's certain things that are fixed in place. There's certain things that are blue, okay, because they're underdefined. So if I zoom in up here, I just kind of section this off for us. This one says circle tool. So we want to be on the sketch tab, not the features tab, the sketch tab. And you'll notice that there are little dividing lines. There's one right here. So that's like the exit sketch, smart dimension, and then a dividing line. Then all of your sketching tools, another dividing line. And then I would call these like your modifying tools, where you trim or offset, maybe your mirror. It modifies something that's already there. And then a lot of these ones over here we don't really use. Okay, so the circle tool is actually located up here, right next to the line tool. There's the circle, and then there's a drop down option, and it shows you two different options there. We want just a normal circle tool. So when we select that, and now the tool is grayed because it's highlighted or it's selected, you'll see that there's different types, and it shows two different pictures. So this one shows a picture and it has a small 1 and a small 2. Those numbers and small dots next to it represent the amount of clicks that you need. So the first one is the center. So when we click here and we move our mouse out, now it's asking us how big do we want this. So if we click to place, that's our second click, and that's our size of it. Okay, so that's just a normal circle tool. We zoom out, zoom over here. This one's called the perimeter circle. So we could either hit the drop down up here and select perimeter circle, or on some of the tools, SolidWorks actually puts both types right here. You'll notice on some of the other tools it doesn't, and I really don't know why it does and doesn't, but for this one at least it is right here. So this is the perimeter circle. Notice there are 3 different clicks for this one. So let's make it connecting to all of these, meaning it would be tangent. So if I click this line, and then move my mouse down and click this one, it's tangent at all 3 places. Now you could use the perimeter circle even if you didn't have those lines there, but this is not something that you would normally do. So if I just moved out to this white space, I could click 3 different spots, and you see I can still draw a circle with the perimeter circle, even though I don't have those lines. Okay. And zooming down here, this is the ellipse tool. Another word for an ellipse would be an oval. Maybe you've heard of that. So the ellipse tool is not something that we will technically use in TechDraw 1. We won't use it that much at all, if ever. But I do want you to see what it is. So it is the second row, third one in. There's 4 different options here. Maybe you've heard of a parabola from algebra class or a conic from algebra class, but we won't really draw with those. The ellipse and the partial ellipse are what we're going to use in this demo. So get the ellipse tool, and this one clicks in the center. It moves out to click one of your radiuses, and then moving up is your other radius. So when I say that, it's because it's actually like a circle that's squished. So an ellipse has two different radiuses, a minor, which is your short side, and a major, which is the longer side. Okay. A partial ellipse, that just makes part of your ellipse. So it's the same thing. We have 4 clicks instead of 3. So we click in the center, we click out on an angle, and we click for its minor radius, but then it disappears because it's asking you to trace however much of that ellipse you want. So it is kind of a neat tool to look at, but we really won't use that ever in TechDraw 1. Okay. So after we are done drawing those 4 examples, in order to back out of the sketch, you'll see up here in the top right, there's 2 different things that are grayed out. There's a red X, which is discard, meaning it's going to delete everything we just did. Or there's a piece of paper with a return arrow. That's what we want to select. We want to return out of this sketch, so we're no longer editing the sketch, and then we can save it. Let's go up to the top and hit save. And if you do hit save, you might get this thing that says, hey, this is created in an older version. Do you still want to save? Every single year we get a new version of SolidWorks. So these files were made years ago. Just hit yes. You do want to save it, even though it's an older version. Okay? Then you can move on to the next activity.